Good evening, traveler. Before our coast to coast adventure begins, settle into the quiet of your room. Feel each breath deepen and slow. With every gentle exhale, imagine luggage set down and clocks forgotten. A vast country waits outside the window, but for now, only softness matters. When your shoulders have released the day, let us step, unhurriedly, onto Canada's storied transcontinental train, the Canadian. Marble pillars glow under Art Deco lamps inside Toronto's Union Station, the eastern terminus of our 4,466-kilometer odyssey. Porters guide a handful of midnight blue stainless steel cars onto track 12. These are 1950s icons, polished to a moonlit shine. Beyond the tall doors, Lake Ontario breathes a damp spring breeze, while the CN Tower stitches constellations across the sky. Soon, a muted boarding chime blends with a last call for fresh coffee from a kiosk still awake. You find your berth, a compact suite of honey-colored birch with wide observation windows and a fold-down armchair that will become tonight's bed. A tender sigh from the locomotive announces departure. At 10 p.m. sharp, the train eases west, tracing the shoreline toward the darkened suburbs of Mississauga and Oakville. Morning arrives as a watercolor wash of pink over Georgian Bay. Granite outcrops rise like ancient whales above the evergreen forest, their flanks polished during the last ice age. This is the Canadian Shield, billions of years old, thin-soiled and rich with nickel and copper. Out on a glassy lake, a lone canoeist pauses mid-stroke, watching silver cars glide between jack pines. At Sudbury Junction, the engineer adds fresh water and supplies, while ravens comment from the catenary poles. Departing again, the train threads marshes stitched with wild irises, then slips into tunnels blasted straight through Precambrian bedrock. Beyond Capriole, civilization thins to whistle stops, Folayette, Elsass, Gogama, names that linger from fur trade posts and rail camps. Dome car seats swivel for panoramic views of mirror-bright lakes flashing between birch trunks. A dining car cook serves wild blueberry pancakes, the berries foraged yesterday by a supplier outside Hornpain. In mid-afternoon, the line curves around Oba Lake. Here the engineer gives two long blasts, first for a road crossing, second to greet an osprey nest perched atop the northbound signal. The call echoes across water, then dissolves into wind. Late evening filters gold through the skyline dome as we approach Armstrong, one of the coldest places on the line come January, yet tonight fragrant with balsam poplar. Fireweed edges the ballast in brilliant magenta. Overhead, the first stars emerge, unobscured by city glow. The constellation Cygnus mirrors our silver train, both birds of passage winging west. Somewhere south, Lake Superior sleeps under a fingernail moon, unseen yet immense. Its shoreline shaping local weather, we can almost taste in the crisp air. A subtle tremor in the wheels at 4:30 a.m. signals entry onto the level iron of the prairies. When sunlight returns, it reveals Manitoba's big sky canvas, horizon stretched flat as a drawn string. Tall grass remnants shimmer with dew near a grain elevator at Portage la Prairie, its faded lettering spelling out an era when wheat was shipped in wooden boxcars. By 8 a.m., the Canadian rolls beneath the limestone facade of Winnipeg's Union Station. Passengers step down to stretch along the banks of the Red River, while new crew members, engineer, conductor, chef, climb aboard for the next 1,000 miles. A Métis fiddler stationed by the rotunda sends lilting tunes along vaulted ceilings. An echo of Red River cart dances once held on this very ground. Leaving Winnipeg, the train points toward an ocean of wheat. Outside the panoramic dome, ripples of green and gold shift like tides in summer wind. Red-tailed hawks ride thermals above rectangular fields brilliantly mapped by shelter belts. Near Brandon, rows of cylindrical grain hoppers, painted sky blue, russet, and forest green, wait on sidings, each stenciled with the names of prairie cooperatives. Midday brings Saskatchewan's Qu'Appelle Valley, a sudden ribbon of coulees and lakes, incised into otherwise level earth, proof of a glacial river's ancient force. The dome car hushes as travelers absorb rolling hills, unexpected after hours of flatness. Evening paints successive grain elevators at Melville, Foam Lake, and Watrous in apricot light, their silhouettes fading like lanterns into night. Just before midnight, salt lights of Edmonton rise, a creamy glow around the North Saskatchewan River. The train backs slowly into VIA's downtown platform, where a bronze statue of Surveyor Sanford Fleming, visionary of a coast-to-coast rail link, points west toward mountains we will meet by dawn. Some passengers disembark for hotels, others board with alpine backpacks, tucking gear into baggage at the rear coach. Fuel trucks hiss beside the locomotives, and the faint aroma of spruce mingles with diesel in the cool air. Soon, with a double toot, the Canadian noses into darkness once more. First light frays the sky just east of Hinton. Caribou moss glows silver beneath lodgepole pines. At 7:20 a.m., Jasper's wooden station appears, backdropped by pyramid-shaped peaks dusted with lingering snow. Coffee steam drifts from the platform cafe while guests snap photographs beside the locomotive's marble maple leaf emblem. We pause long enough to watch the crimson Jasper Prince Rupert regional train depart north, then rejoin our seats for the climb toward Yellowhead Pass. At 1,131 meters, the summit is modest by Continental Divide standards, yet dramatic in feeling. Waterfalls ribbon off Mount Fitzwilliam, and glacier-fed Moose Lake stretches turquoise for 20 miles, paralleling the tracks so closely it seems our wheels skim water. Crossing into British Columbia, we enter the Fraser River's upper reaches. Bald eagles perch on drift logs, scanning for late-running salmon. The valley walls tighten, and tunnels drilled through gunmetal schist alternate with bridges suspended above whitewater. Conductors recount the rivalry of Canadian National and Canadian Pacific, each racing to secure canyon real estate a century ago. Near Tate Jean Cache, the rivers join, the smoky green Thompson merging into the cloudier Fraser, its roar audible even through insulated glass. Afternoon brings a Swiss-like vista. Mount Robson, tallest in the Rockies at 3,954 meters, wears a summit cloud cap that locals call the Robson Hood, an omen of coming weather. Past Kamloops, the rails cling to arid hills dotted with sagebrush. Here the climate shifts to desert dryness rare in Canada. Bighorn sheep graze nonchalantly beside the right-of-way, their sandstone-colored coats camouflaged against hoodoos. At Ashcroft, the train switches to Canadian Pacific rails, descending the savage beauty of the Fraser Canyon, where wooden fish wheel platforms of Stolo people still dip nets for sockeye during late summer runs. Hell's Gate, A rock narrows named by explorer Simon Fraser throttles the river into froth beneath us as the engineer whistles in salute to rafting parties far below. Evening scents of apple blossom float through half-open vestibule windows near Hope, home to orchards nourished by glacial silt. The final night's darkness is punctuated by sodium-lit stations, Chilliwack, Abbotsford, Mission City, each flashing past like thoughts just before sleep. Rain begins, soft but confident, tapping a quiet tattoo on stainless steel roofs. In the forward lounge, you sip chamomile while watching lights ripple across Pit Lake marshes where great blue herons stand unmoving, statues in freshwater shallows. By 3:30 a.m., the train skirts Bird Inlet. Container cranes of Port Metro Vancouver resemble origami giraffes browsing on starlight. A faint tang of salt arrives, our first hint of the Pacific. Dawn lifts over snow-flecked North Shore mountains as the Canadian coasts into Vancouver's Pacific Central Station, its mission complete. 86 hours, 4 time zones, and nearly 100 stops lie behind us. You step onto the platform, the air scented by cedar and sea. Nearby, a harbor air floatplane coughs into life, destined for islands just visible in the strait. Yet there is no need to hurry onward. Instead, retire to a waterfront hotel room, drawing curtains onto a vista of freighters at anchor. Lie back, remembering granite lakes, wheat seas, and ice-bright peaks scrolling past a window that felt at times like the world's gentlest film. Let the rhythmic clatter still echoing in your mind become a lullaby. With breaths as steady as rail joints, drift into easy continent-long sleep.